Alright, it is March of 2019, and we are in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, here with Mawmaw, and I'm going to ask her a little bit about her life, and she's going to tell us. So, Mawmaw, first question I've got is, can you tell us a little bit about what it was like growing up in the 1940s into the 50s?
Well, we didn't have shoes like you kids do now. Our shoes would tear up sometime. Dad would take it to a shoe thing and put tacks and nail the soles back on for us to finish out the winter. When cotton time come, he would make cotton bales and he would go and sell them. And then we will get a new pair of shoes for the whole year. And that was high-top brown shoes. We loved them dearly, but we wasn't allowed to play with them when they was in the summertime. We had to put them up. We went barefooted in the wintertime. And then Dad one day decided he'd tell us how to make a pair of shoes we could wear around the house and the yards, and it would help our feet. So he went and got some cardboard, bored a hole in it, and on the toe, put a string up to it. We tied it around our ankle. And then he put two holes at the heels. We tied that around our ankle, and our shoes would stay on, and we could play without rocks or hurting our feet.
All right. You tell us about what school was like when you were growing up, where you went to school, and what it was like, the type of schooling that you got.
We had two teachers in eight grades. One of them was fourth, fifth, and sixth together. And then we had the first, second, and third together. And they was two teachers. And they taught all those classes. And I bet you it wasn't easy for them, but they did.
Did anybody ever get any whoopings back then?
Yes, they did. And they would have to stand in the corner and be real quiet in a chair or stand up in a corner. But they would have to stand there for a while before the principal of the school would let them sit down. And that was all of that.
What about what you do for fun, and what were your hobbies growing up?
We jump rope. We played hide and go seek. We made things. We'd make playhouses, and I bet you kids today don't even know how to make a playhouse. We'd make pies out of mud and mix it up, put it in a little bowl or put it in a little lid, and we'd make that. That was our supper.
Did you ever throw those pies at anybody?
Yes, we did. A lot of it. But Mama would get on to it because it would get in our hair, and she wouldn't like that.
All right. What about after you got out of school and any jobs that you had?
Well, I babysat a lot, but I also worked in factories, like sewing leotards that kids wear today, them tight pants. We called them leotards back in those days. And I was an inspector on the lining of it. And then we would raise eggs, and we would sell eggs, and we had a man come around in a truck, and he had cookies and candies, and we had enough eggs we could get a candy bar.
All right. What about raising kids? Talk a little bit about you and Pawpaw, and then raising kids.
Raising kids is a wonderful thing to do in life. There are some children that don't understand a lot because their parents does not take time to sit down and talk to them. I guess altogether I have raised maybe 30 kids besides my 4 kids. But how I've enjoyed it. Now they come back to see my mom and papa, and they're in their 20s and 30s. Gone to college, made something out of themselves, and that's what we all have to do on this earth to get better of what we're doing. We've got to work for what we want. We cannot sit on our thumbs and fiddle, because that won't work.
All right. Last one is, what's the best advice you've got? And talk a little bit about your faith too, because I definitely want to hear a little bit about that. But so talk about your faith, and then we'll talk about the best advice that you've ever gotten, and then your best advice to give.
Okay, I had a Christian mother. She started us about Jesus with a little tiny Bible that she had her daddy give her. Then we growed up, become a Christian, and we love the Lord. And when you get married, you always start your home out with the Lord. You always pray together, stay together. And don't argue and fuss around your children, because that don't help you and it don't help your children. It makes them very, very nervous. So we got to love one another on this earth, because God loves us. And He wants us to keep His children together and do things with them that we like to do with them. And do good things, not bad things. But first thing you know, if you don't watch, boys and girls, they'll step off on that dirty old floor. Then they got their feet dirty, and they'll have to come back to the Lord to get them all cleaned up again. But they people that can help them out there in this world, and that's the best thing to do, is just live for the Lord.
All right. What's the best advice you ever got? And then what's your best advice for somebody else?
The best one I ever got was from my mother. You're put here on this earth to love the Lord, and love your people, and love your brothers and sisters, and love your friends, and try to help one another along the way, because it's a worrisome old world. But you can make it and be so happy and do things together as a family.
All right. Well, thanks, Mawmaw, for talking to us today. And anything else you want to say?
Just have a wonderful day, children. And remember, David is watching you. I got him, didn't I?